In Garden View, Sprout and Cosmo are best friends and both share the same love of cooking. Sprout is a strawberry and Cosmo is a pastry. As their trinkets, these two have bracelets that match together. Unlike Sprout and all the other toons we have covered so far, Cosmo is not a main, meaning he has a toon description. It reads that Cosmo is great in the kitchen. He loves baking sweet treats for all of his friends. He is often seen with best friend Sprout. Cosmo inspires children to have generosity. A small detail about it that I noticed is that the end of the description actually matches up with his ability, which is to give others one of his hearts. And to keep the chain going, this brings us onto their stats, which will be shown on screen now. Sprout, being a main, has a 5-star stat, which in this case is stamina. Now that you've seen that bug, which was of course the most important bit, it's time to get onto the Twisted. I find it more convenient since Sprout is already in the background and you'll actually be able to see him to start with him, so let's go. So the first thing you immediately notice is his height and how he's overgrown, which I think is just an interesting little thing that proves that they are actually organic, and Sprout is actually made of, well, strawberry I suppose. Now the second thing you probably notice, unless you notice it first somehow, which would probably be really stupid, but you know, whatever, is his left arm, which is completely overrun by Ica, and, you know, big black claw, stands out quite a bit. And then there's the left eye, which is completely covered. Now, this is extremely conveniently timed, because this is completely raw footage, and yeah, I managed to time it perfectly by accident. I only realised at this point, so that's really nice. But yeah, let's start talking about him. Now, because of them being best friends and then being separated by the Ica when they got twisted, it's actually like a really cool, because everything about them is just parallel, like kind of swapped over. Now, what I mean is quite literally every single one of their features, because as you can see, Twisted Cosmo's right eye, unlike Sprout's left eye, is completely covered with Ica, and his right arm has become like an Ica claw. Now, another thing that I only just kind of noticed and paid attention to, like, at making this, is that Sprout's legs are completely shrouded and covered by Ica, and yet Cosmo's are left the exact same. Like, you know, what I mean is no Ica, obviously. What else would I mean? Now, in this case, there's also Sprout's scarf, which kind of proves my point of, like, the clothes being affected by it. This, of course, leads to another thing that's completely opposite about Sprout and Cosmo, which I actually don't think was like an intended thing, but none of Cosmo's clothes were affected by the Ica, and they all remain the exact same. Now, something that I surprisingly haven't mentioned up until this point is their Twisted descriptions, which I'll talk about now. Now, all Twisted Sprout's description explains is his ability, which is to summon tendrils out of the ground, which I think is kind of to do with this overgrownness, and, like, obviously, being a main character, a super strong ability. However, on the other hand, Twisted Cosmo's description just mentions what we've been going over, like them being separated, and going, like, depressed and emo about it. Now, while doing my insane research, aka just looking for Twisted Cosmo's description and putting in his ability by accident, which he doesn't actually have, bear in mind, I found a thing that says that Twisted Cosmo or Twisted Sprout will try and follow Twisted Cosmo around, like some people have noticed, in the game. So yeah, I just thought that was interesting, and if it is true, then that's quite cool, and depressing as well, because rest in peace them.